In absentia, welcome Assistant Commissioner of Police Dotun Odubono, Assistant Commissioner of Police Operations. You are most welcome, sir. Assistant Commissioner of Police Olajide Agbola, Assistant Commissioner of Police Admin. You are most welcome, sir. So, Assistant Commissioner of Police Olukemi Tijani, Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of S-Squad. You are most welcome now. It's nice to have you. And CSP Yinka Egbeyemi, Commander RRS, that is one of our own, represented by SP AB Akim. Oh, yeah, you choose to be at the top. Oh, you're welcome. CSP Al-Kazim Muhammad, OCSIB. Is he here? We also have CSP Adekunle Adishebutu, Public Relations Officer. You are most welcome, sir. ACP Tunde Ademiran, AC Police H. Ugudu. Welcome, sir. ACP Ahmed Jamil, ACP Police K. Badagry. You are welcome, sir. ACP Ali Songo, ACP Police F. Ikeja. You are welcome, sir. Aliko Dankoli, ACP Port, Devabushi. Okay. Afegbayi Igbafe, ACP Police A. Festac. You are welcome, sir. Songora Ibrahim, ACP Port G. Ogba, area G. Ogba. You are welcome. Olukebi Tijani Squad. Okay, once again, you are welcome. CSP Matthew Tuodoye, representing AC Police Lion Building. You are most welcome. Ilari Obiano, representing AC Police Midimo. You are welcome. Ayola Olawale, ACP Police Elemoro. You are most welcome. Asi Emeko Nkanga, Rep ACP Police Alagbado. You are most welcome. AB Akim, representing Council on RRS, Commander RRS. You are most welcome. You are representing two people at the same time. Ali Sumaila, Ali Sumaila, Provost representing SPU Base 16. You are welcome. Aro Kodri, PA Yetunde Cardozo, OC Lega, ASP Udono Olu, CSP Patricia Amadi Anthony, Celestina Kalu Ogudu, Taiwo Oyewale Ikeja, Elizabeth Opadola Alausa, Mary Ayim, Main Center. You are all welcome. We thank you for coming this afternoon. Yeah, the majority leader to listen to the Commissioner of Police. Can we relax the rules?
Mr. Speaker, to accommodate the Commissioner of Police, who is a visitor to the House, I wish to move that Order 129 of the rules be activated. I so move.
Honorable Shokole,
I rise to second the motion as moved.
all in favor say aye. Aye. Those against the ayes have it. The Commissioner of Police, you are most invited to stand before the House to share your experience and perception with us. Most welcome, sir. Yeah. Yeah, the Commissioner of Police, sir, we are here to listen to you. You can go ahead.
The Honorable Speaker, Lagos State Assembly. So, right. So, right, Honorable Munashiro Obasa, the Deputy Speaker, House Assembly, the Majority Speaker and Majority Leader, and all other members of the House. I have this privilege of coming in and giving the honor to address the House. Let's say good afternoon and Happy New Year in advance and Merry Christmas in arrears. Coming here today is just like coming home. And as the Right Honorable Speaker said, so we've been within thick and thin of the state. So right from the advent of the civilian regime, maybe in 1999, coming in. And we have collectively, so making the state where it is now in terms of security, in terms of development, in terms of progress. Nothing can be achieved, and nothing has been achieved in my capacity and the various opportunities that I have to serve this state without the support, the cooperation, the assistance of this House. And this is where we consider being fit that we have to come and give honor to whom is due, to come around with all my management team and senior officers to express a deep appreciation to the Honorable House for all the support, for all the assistance we've been given that has made our job easier. We are law enforcement officers, but the laws have to be made before we can enforce them. If the laws are not made, then we have nothing to enforce because we cannot make the laws. And the same thing too, so the House makes the law for the governance and progress of the state. Pass the laws to the Lagos State or the police authorities to enforce. And in enforcing this, we have been working together symbiotically. We've been working together in unison. We've been working together in making sure that so the state, which is the microscope of Nigeria, progresses and have peace. My experience in that the seats that have occupied, I just did that briefly before I read this morning. So I had the opportunity of being the chairman of Lagos State Task Force, the first police officer after the departure of the military in 1999. So to provide us seats as chairman of Lagos State Task Force on environmental and social offences. Because I had the opportunity of coming in as commander of Lagos State Rapid Response Corps for a period of about 8 years, and had the opportunity too of coming back as the commissioner of police of the state, from where I have not been elevated so to the rank of assistant to the general police, which is a glory to the state that I came to the state as 1 star in 1992, and I had the opportunity of leaving the state as assistant to the general police. So I thank the state, I thank the house, I thank those that we have worked together personally, officially, so in making today a glorious one and giving the opportunity to stand before the house. Lagos State is a state that requires a committed and well-grounded officers. You cannot do anything in Lagos State if you don't have the passion. So my success in Lagos State is the passion, the commitment I have for the state. Because whatever I have, so no matter the accolade that I have, it is from the state that everything come up. Of recent, I've just been awarded, I've just given an honorary degree, doctorate degree on national security and public administration, which the first year I will have, all because of my achievements in Lagos State. And without your support, without your cooperation, there's nothing we can do about that. Lagos has been a challenging seat, security-wise, because security is the bedrock of every society. And without security, there cannot be progress. So if we want to have the opportunity of being in Lagos, a tree does not make a forest. The Lagosians that everybody here represents have been the backbone of resources. So I'm imploring the Honorable House to convey this back to your various constituents that where we are in Lagos today is because of their cooperation, their assistance, variously. Without information, you cannot do anything. I want to implore this House, as I bow out from the seat of Commissioner of Police, in any other assignment I'm going to be, that the House will cooperate with whoever that is coming in, so to take the manual leadership. The information that will be passing to me in the personal capacity, in the official capacity, I want to implore the House to continue that, so that whoever coming in shall not only step on the shoe, we equally build more and surpass it with your cooperation. Because the Commissioner of Police sits in Lagos State, so it's not a tea party. But we cannot do it, I cannot succeed without. Many laws have been made by this Honorable House. As I said earlier, without the laws, we cannot do anything, because this is democracy. It's not a jungle justice where anybody commits an offense, whoever that feels aggrieved will decide to meet a punishment that he or she wishes to meet out. But with the law at the disposal of law enforcement officers, agents, which this House has passed out so many, then the Lagos has been made to be peaceful. So I want to further implore the House that don't get tired, don't relent in making the laws that are going to make the state better, prosperous, and economic-wise, the hub of the country. I'll read this small speech now, and then do little explanations. So reflections on some bills passed into law by Lagos State's 9th Assembly and their positive impacts on law enforcement and crime prevention in Lagos State. It is with great pleasure and honor that I stand before this distinguished and ever vibrant House of Assembly to express my profound gratitude for the invaluable support extended to me in efficiently and effectively policing Lagos State. Lagos State is unarguably the hub and economic nerve center of Nigeria and indeed Africa. Whatever happens in Lagos potentially affects one way or the other parts of the country and neighboring countries. This is why keeping Lagos safe is an Herculean task that requires steady and focused alertness. This Honorable House, led by Right Honorable Mudachiru Obasa, has consistently and tremendously contributed to sustaining a safe and secure Lagos. Some of the bills passed into laws have greatly assisted the State Command enormously in enforcement and keeping criminals at bay. They have correspondingly led to reduction in crime, criminals, and destabilized their criminal enterprises. They have equally helped to boost businesses and economic activities in the states. I just mentioned few. One of such bills passed into law is the Bill on Unlawful Society and Cultism Prohibition Law 2021. With the enactment of this law, criminal activities related to cultism in our institutions of higher learning and communities generally are drastically reduced. No society without a crime, but it has. Gone are the days where the punishment for the offense was not to write home about. But with the interest that this Honorable House has for the safety of the state, she wrote to the challenges, amended the laws, and made stiffer penalties, which now we have been enforcing and bring it to nosedive. It is worthy to mention that this law has created awareness to general public, especially during the recent enforcement by the police, where some suspects were arrested and prosecuted. Members of the public have a noble and great role to play in curbing the menace of cultism in our society. Members of the public now know that their promises should not be used to perpetrate this heinous crime, having known the penalty and consequences of such an act in law, in their refusal and failure to notify security agents of cultism activities in the area. I omitted all the sections because this Honorable House passed the bill. I don't want to bother with all the sections. Another law that has been of tremendous assistance now is that Land Use Charge Amendment Law 2020. This law has improved the behavioral pattern of land grabbers and other land speculators in Lagos State. It has brought sanity to the reckless way of grabbing people's land and defrauding people of their hard-earned money. Furthermore, the issue of fighting, killing, and maiming common with land grabbers is presently becoming a thing of the past. It still exists, but drastically, comparatively, it has reduced with the extent of this law and its enforcement. Unlike in the past, where punishment for land grabbing was 6 months imprisonment with an option of fine, the amended law has reviewed the land grabbing punishment to 6 years imprisonment with no option of fine. For the purpose of this section, an offense is committed whether or not the violence is directed against the person or against the property, and the violence is intended to secure entry for the purpose of acquiring possession of the property or for any other purposes. The person who commits the offense shall on conviction be liable to 10 years imprisonment. All this are going to deter those who have either taken land grabbing as their pastime. Another law that I have is the Open Grazing Prohibition Law of 2021. So the bill banning open grazing is a good step in the right direction. It will be of immense help to effective policing of Lagos as criminals and bandits will no longer have any hiding place to commit heinous crimes of our unsuspecting residents, especially farmers and rural dwellers, as well as movement and grazing of cows in the ranches and farms in Lagos will be closely monitored and properly accounted for. This is where I want to applaud the House on the oversight function when this law comes to full enforcement. We are all aware of what happens in other parts of the country. In the course of my journey in the police force, I had the opportunity of serving in Benue State. So when the crisis was at its peak between the farmers and the herders, and what we went through there is not we wish for this state, and it shall never happen. So when this law comes in, I was one of those that jubilated seriously with the enactment of this law, so that our farmers, the rural dwellers, all those who are hiding under the issue of S-men, under the name of total S-men now, to commit, the law will not be there. When the ranches are fully implemented, I will pour this house now to extend the oversight function and ensure that the tenets of this law are well enforced. One other law I want to mention is the Neighborhood Safety Corps Amendment Law 2020. The Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps Amendment Law 2020 has also been very helpful as the Lagos State Police Command now work more in synergy with neighborhood safety corps in combating crimes and social disorder in Lagos State. They have been providing vital information that have been assisting the command in nipping crime in the bud and enhancing the security and safety of our neighborhood. This is community policing in action and at its peak. Implementation of this has been highly rewarding to the state security-wise and mutually benefiting to the other government agencies. They are everywhere and we need information to work. So I will applaud the House, why not speaking for them, why not being there that further assistance should be given to the neighborhood watch, because that is the police on the ground in the rural areas where information are. The clashes that often occur between the police at that level and the rural dwellers now at the various crossings has reduced drastically. Equally, the community policing, so those about 1,250 that have from the various constituencies who are working with us now, has reduced that fear, has reduced that doubt, has reduced that hatred between the police and members of the community. So the trust is now coming up and we want this one to be sustained. Emergency Coronavirus Pandemic Bill 2020. Nigeria has indeed Lagos ranks among the first 10 compliant countries on COVID-10 protocols in the world. This command at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic came into this law, enforced it religiously, and this has helped to boost public safety and make Lagos a safe and healthy place to visit for tourists and visitors all over the world. And that's what we are enjoying now because of the pandemic and the jab coming up now, the third one coming up. So the issue of COVID-19 will gradually become a thing of the past in Lagos State. Transport section, Reform Amendment Law 2021. In the area of transport, the Transport Reform Amendment Law 2021 has helped to improve the regulation of transport system in the state. With LSHA and Lagos State Police Command Traffic Section working in synergy. This has led to tremendous decrease in traffic offences, apprehension and prosecution of traffic offenders, and high improvement on management of traffic in the command by the police, by LSHA, as well as Lamata, whose responsibility includes managing traffic on the BRT corridor. Lamata, we have a full set of police team, just like the task force now, Lamata. So we now see that there's a lot of sanity on the corridor, because at each of the bus stops now, there are police officers that are purely and solely for Lamata, which they work for. Unlike before that, they need to call police when there's need, and there may not be. We just decided that we have to give a teeth to Lamata just as we have it with LSHA, and that has reduced the attack on the laboratory, has reduced the attack on the buses, but we've not gotten to destination. And these are the things I need to inform and tell the incoming Commissioner of Police. Then the last one I want to mention is the storm media parade of suspects. It's good because it talks on fundamental human rights. We know the law does not or presumes everybody to be innocent until court of competent jurisdiction pronounces otherwise. And the import or the mind of the House in passing that law is to protect members of the public, is to protect those who have been accused, that when you parade people, at the end of the day, the person has not been judged or committed the offense. Perhaps that parade must have caused a lot of psychological wound to that person. At the same time, parading suspects is part of the strategy in policing, because why that happens, some who now sees that, oh, Mr. A committed this offense, has been arrested and going to be prosecuted or be prosecuted. It goes a long way. So in serving as deterrent to the people outside there, but we try to find a way in, putting the interest, the reasons behind the enactment of the law, so by this honorable House, as well as enforcing it. And why not trampling on the fundamental human rights of the suspects, because they remain suspects until they become an accused persons, and the court so judge. And we that are bringing it around to. So I'm discussing some people I want to even send in, so maybe through the appropriate authority now, an amendment to that, so that we'll be on the same synergy, because the purpose is to make the state safer. But some people that are criminally minded, they are hiding under that and still committing. But as it stands, it's the law, and it's the law, it's not yet repealed, not yet amended. We are enforcing it as, but there will be need for official amendment for that law. So the law talks about the rights of suspects. Fundamental rights may be breached upon when the media parade. So for suspects, when they are said to be proven guilty of any offense. But despite all this, as law officers, we remain resolutely committed to complement the commendable efforts of this House to continue to proactively confront crime and criminality in full force. With the tremendous support that we receive from the legislative arm of this government, we promise to continue to excel in providing watertight security for the three population of these states. It is the conviction of the state commanders making Lagos safer will go a long way to boost the socio-economic and political life of the good people of the states, enhance our position as the economic hub of Nigeria and indeed Africa, sustain our enviable status at the center of excellence and the most peaceful state in the country, that is Lagos State. And that's why we've seen that almost all facilities in Lagos are booked to the brim. So many activities are going on, so many companies, organizations are coming to Lagos and boosting the economy of the state because of the security. Then we cannot do that without your support. On a personal note, I want to express my profound appreciation to negotiators through their esteemed representative in this Olo chamber of the tremendous and unflinching support accorded me since my sojourn in the States in the course of my career as a police officer. The unquantifiable assistance that this House and its honorable members have individually, collectively, both in personal and official relationship extended to the command are not only acknowledged, but shall continue to be cherished. It's often said that opportunity comes at once. The goes through Lagosians and their community leaders, and my various inspector generals of police are provided opportunities to serve the states over 3 times, all memorable and commendable. I mentioned earlier, first at the Chairman Lagos State Task Force on Environmental Social Offences under the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the governor. Secondly, as commander of Rapid Response Corps under the leadership of Mr. Obatunde Raji Fashola as the governor. And thirdly, presently and right now, at the State Commissioner of Police under the leadership of Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu as governor. Similarly, 4 honorable speakers of this great house of assembly, the Right Honorable Olowo Mamora, Joko Tade Pelumi, Adeyemi Koforiji, and his presence tonight assembly under the leadership of Right Honorable Modashi Obasa, who is so quintessential and unparalleled leader, have been assisting the command in frontally confronting criminals and criminal activities. Obviously, the command story in crime prevention cannot be complete without acknowledging this house and the above mentioned leaders. In exactly 28 days from today, precisely January 25th, 2022, when it will be 60 years of age, I shall, to borrow the terminology of this house, honorably be retiring from the Nigerian Police Force as an Assistant to General Police of Federal Republic of Nigeria. The success I have been achieving in the course of my police sojourn in these states, which falls the bulk of my career years, will not have been achieved without support and various stakeholders in securing these states. This distinguished house is one of the major holders. To this, I express my deep appreciation and that of the management team, officers, and men of the Nigerian Police Force, Lagos State Police Command, to this house for its unparalleled support. Thank you all and God bless. Long live Lagos State House Assembly, long live the Lagos State, and long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's my, so after this, I just wish to, we have so many in participatory policy, so many which are going to drop phones, calls, and equally 200 thieves on security. In the houses, how do you have this? So in the hotels, how do you get yourself secured? When you are traveling, how do you get yourself secured? Why in the offices, how do you get yourself secured? Why not at home? How do you get yourself secured? All those tips. About 200 ones now, I'm dropping it now, so the house, which I know can be reprinted. Equally, all the numbers of the police officers, from Commissioner of Police down in the states, as well as various federal departments, all divisional police officers, the numbers will equally be submitted, as well as our control room. That's the vital one I want us to take note of. There are 4 control rooms in Lagos State Police Command, and there are 2 numbers. The control rooms now, those that are there, they are well-trained controllers. They have the geography of Lagos at their fingertips. If something is happening in Moshi, for example, or in Korodu, or in Agbowa, the controller knows not only the number of the DPO, the cost of the DPO, all the patrol vehicles within that vicinity that could be called. If I'm called, permission passed to me, I call the controller to moving people there. So those safety numbers for the control rooms, I want them to be religiously used and equally give to the constituents. So one of the things I did was that I make sure that the numbers of all DPOs, area commanders are written, conspicuously displayed at all the police stations. We have 110 in Lagos State, we have 78 police posts, and 14 area commands in Lagos State. 13 upland and 1 for the riverine area. All that to move in, the numbers are there. The reason behind this is to let those officers that are at the help of affairs at each police level, police station now, police formation, to reach them at any given time. And in every family there is always the Judas. I want to employ the house, not to throw away the water with the baby. We have some bad elements in police. But I want to plead that whenever such happens, just create time, use any of the numbers, and send the report of that to the officers at the divisional level where it cannot, the commander level is there. Where it cannot be solved, the commissioner of police level is there. And at this stage too, we have assistants of general police in charge of Lagos and State Command, Zone 2 Nikon. His number is currently there that could be called at any time. Lagos is safe. We thank God. For the past 3 years I've been on, 3 X-Mans I've had in the command. But I never had any so deadly occurrence. Just like this last one, we never had it. And the new year that's coming now, I'm assuring Lagosians, the new year and beyond, Lagos shall continue to be safe. So those who intend to come and call this in Lagos, they will come. But they will not live to tell the story. And that was what I gave to the kidnappers when they wanted to rear their heads. We have 4 incidences, but we thank God. So we dealt with them the way the law says we should deal with them. And since then, Lagos has been peaceful. Also the issue of bank robbery, some of the past in Lagos with the support of the House. So once again, I want to thank this House for the opportunity given to me to come and say thank you, to come and show appreciation. I am not ungrateful. Our Lagos State Police Command is not ungrateful. And we shall continue, whether I'm here or not, with the common officers that have, be at the beck and call of this House in order to make Lagos a safer state. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you very much. If there's anything I may need to ask, to be asked, I'm at the service of the House. So once again, I appreciate this. God bless you all, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Akibu Dumosu, the Commissioner of Police here in Lagos State. We thank you for appreciating the House. We thank you for implementing the laws passed by this House for the benefit of the state and the people of this state. I will give my colleagues, at least few of them, to respond to all you have said, because we have a lot to do today without taking much of your own time and wasting our own time too. Our Majority Leader will come first. And I want you to make it brief.
Mr. Speaker, I will be very brief. I want to first and foremost appreciate Commissioner Odumosu for all he has done for the state. Ordinarily and logically, Lagos State should not be a peaceful place. But you and your men made it peaceful. I said that because Lagos is the melting point of political, socio-economic activities. This is a state where everybody comes from all parts of the country with the mind that money is picked on the street. They get here, they now discover that you have to work for your money. They can't go back to where they come from. They stay in and they want to make ends meet at all costs. That creates criminality. We have a very huge population, but very limited land mass. We are open to water bodies that can be really infiltrated and bring in all sorts of people with shades of character. But you and your men stood your ground. You make a lot of impact without making noise at all. And I want to commend you and your men for the effort you have put in place. You are a man of practicality. We have seen that, we have noticed that from the time you are in the RRS. And I'm sure that your activities then earn you the commissionership. Much has to be said, but like the Speaker said, time is limited. We can make all sorts of laws here. If they are not properly enforced, then the law remains proposal on the papers. You gave life to the laws we have made, and you reel out laws made by this house that has enabled you and your men to police Lagos very well and keep Lagos peaceful. Notwithstanding that Lagos is very dynamic, Lagos appears or is the most peaceful in the country. We make the law, you enforce the law. We thank you for enforcing the law very well. Our prayer is just that when you shall be disengaging by the 25th of January, we will have a very good successor who will march into your shoes very fittedly, and Lagos will continue to experience the peace that it has continued to experience. Commissioner Akim Odumosu, we thank you very much. You shall not retire to death, you shall not retire to disease, you shall not retire to sorrow. As you have kept Lagos safe, God will keep your life safe. God will keep your family safe. Thank you very much. We appreciate you too.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. I want to use this opportunity to also welcome and congratulate our Action CP Tango 1. Section 14(2)(b) of our Constitution states clearly, the primary responsibility of every government is to protect life and properties. And Commissioner Akim Odumosu has shown to us that he understands the law, and not just that, and he understands the job. I want to commend him for all he's done for Lagos State, right from inception, from Ashwadi Bola Ahmed Tinubu till now. I want to commend his effort. I want to commend his sagacity, his boldness to confront crime. I also want to use the opportunity to say thank you to him. For many times we have called him at odd hours, and he has responded and yielded to our request. While we wish you all the best as you onward as AIG, I am sure that within the few weeks you will spend as AIG, you will also perform miracles there. We congratulate you and wish you well. And I also want to tell you that we will definitely miss you in Lagos State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, good afternoon. I just want to say, my brother, thank you for your support, because you are very, very accessible. You are a true Lagosian. And whenever there is issues about us on security, we add our feedback from other states that the hoodlums cannot come to Lagos because of your sagacity, because of your steadfastness, because of your commitment. I appreciate you. When there was an issue in the house, you called me personally and you make an inquiry. I gave you one or two submissions, and at the end of the day, you welded in both parties. You welded with a view to reconciling the two. Thank you. And from you, I'm thanking my good friend, my brother Egbayemi as well. It's like you. You are real Lagosians. God bless you. Your retirement will usher in great things in your life. I support you, I respect you, and I say it is well with your soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon once again. Let me take it from where Honorable Majority Leader left it. You have brought in modern policing. When we say modern policing, we have seen police who does not even listen. When they called you, you are ready to respond, responsible and responsive. Thank you for being that. And again, you brought true professionalism into policing. I pray that all other police men and women will emulate you. But I want to leave this, sir. You have been recommended from the time of RRS. You performed. You became the Commissioner of Police. You've performed wonderfully well. But you said you are going to retire. I will say you don't retire. Lagos still needs you. When you are done with the federal government, please come back to Lagos. We will still need your wealth of experience. Thank you for what you have done, you stood for. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me also join my colleagues to congratulate my big brother. I always call him Tanko 1 anywhere I see you. because when I came here in 2007, we worked together, and I still give you the respect. I can still see the higher in you, and Nigeria Police giving you this opportunity and promoting you to the level of AIG. It's not doubt. I can see to all the work you have been doing in our state and beyond the Lagos state, because you have been traveled, posted all over the places within the country, and I've seen the experience and what you have done to the Nigerian police. And coming back to our own state here, which I said when I met you in 2007, when you are in the RRS, we have seen a lot of things you have done within us. Even coming back here as a commissioner, you are still doing. But the one thing I'm still challenging you for, that I want you to use your experience, because I call you when we have a program the other time, that please, can you talk to your officers? Because my colleague have said we have the good police officer, but some of them, we traveled on going to the West African state, in going to Togo, Ghana, from Lagos here to their own country there. The moment you are leaving Badagry in the semi-border, you can count the police officer on their road in the Republic of Benin, Republic of Togo, Ghana. I'm telling you, my AIG sir, you can't count almost 3 or 5 officers on the road. But from Agbara to Badagry down to Seme, AIG sir, please use your experience. Talk to the officers. The way they are doing on that road is not okay. Even they are using their own ability, the way they are doing on that road, to have discouraged a lot of the people trading in that area. Going down to Badagry, maybe you bought a product from Maitu here, from any Ikeja factory here, going down to Badagry. A lot of your officers, the way they will be frustrating those people, making them not coming down to area, and people are living in that area. Sir, I'm begging you, within the 6 or 3 weeks that you are going to use as the AIG, you can use all the experience that you have been doing, that to please call on them. Your commanders are still there from Festac, Morogo, Badagry, call on them. We didn't say ask them not to mount their temple, but not on that. They can stay aside like the way other people are doing in the West African country there. Going to that there, the Cotonou, you see the officer, they will park their vehicle. If there is not any issue, they won't stop them. Please talk to your officers, and God will help you. Thank you so much for doing well to our state.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the honor. I just want to join my colleagues and my constituents and the allegations in general in thanking our brother, our friend, the Commissioner of Police for Lagos, for your service to our state. I want to say that we appreciate the fact that you serve with passion and vision for the state. We must commend you for your courage, for your resourcefulness, for your dynamism, and for your control in our state. You've been very, very wonderful personality. Over time, we witnessed your rise. We are in no doubt that you will be a top police officer. One day, since we started, all those days, and we are happy for you, and we only will pray for you that may God continually bless your soul, bless you, guide you, and then protect you. It is, I don't know, if you have the chance, we should even give you a medal for fellow, for your courage in discharging your responsibility. Thank you for being of service to the people of Lagos State. Thank you very much.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I would like to join my colleague to appreciate my Ebon, AIG Akim Odumosu. Ebon, you should please continue with what you are doing. We still need you, as one of my colleagues have said, but we have no choice. Please, I will just pray for you. We never regret that you do this policing job. By the grace of God, you will gain all your effort. You will never regret. Thank you very much, Ebon, for serving Lagos State. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me also join my colleagues to say a very big thank you to our brother here with us this afternoon, the Commissioner of Police, Akim Odumosu, for the good job you have done in our state in protecting their lives and property, and the way you have related with the people while discharging your duties, and your openness and availability all the time, as been said by my colleagues. You are one of the few officers that when it's being called at any time, even midnight, you are always responding to every call, and we appreciate that. And that is what we call alertness is all about. When we have an issue and we have somebody that we can call upon at any point in time, and the person also answers the call, I think that is a very good one, and I will urge your other colleagues here with us who are coming behind you to also emulate such character and behaviors. And that's why you are stepping down. It is important to also call on those coming behind you that the relationship between the people and the police institution has to be improved upon. It is very important because you must build confidence in the people that you are working for. We are all working for the people, and we must try going extra mile to ensure that those that we are working for have that absolute confidence in us. Not only confidence, the trust must be there, and the faithfulness must come from our side to ensure that they understand what we are doing and they believe that we are actually working for them. A situation we have now is not something that we can say is 100%, but we can improve on it, and that is very important. Most times we all drive around the states in the afternoon, morning, and the odd hours. We have seen so many things. Everybody must be treated with respect and honor, and that is the only way we can also hand such respect. So you have done your bit, and we are appreciating what you have done, but this is an opportunity for us to call on those coming. The person that will take charge after you are those that will be working with him or her. That it is very important that we create very cordial, very smooth relationship with the people. So policing must not be about harassment, making life difficult for people, extortion and others, but establishing very smooth and cordial relationship with the people. We thank you on behalf of the people that we represent. We thank you, we appreciate you, and that is why we are giving you this privilege. As the first Commissioner of Police in Lagos said, that will be honored to stand before the whole house, to share his experience and knowledge with us, and that is because we all strongly believe that you have done well and you have discharged your duties without favor and any other divided consideration. So we appreciate you, Commissioner Odumosu. We are most welcome, and we want to wish you all the best in your future endeavor, and we pray Almighty Allah will continue to guide you, to strengthen you, and give you wisdom. So on behalf of my colleagues, we say thank you and good afternoon. May Allah continue to be with you. Thank you very much. You are most welcome. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you may drop your paper. Yes. While the commissioner is on his way out, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Order 129 be deactivated forthwith. I so move.
Honorable Sholaga.
I rest the second motion, sir.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Now, Majority Leader, business of the day.
Mr. Speaker, first item on the other paper is House of Assembly motion number 35 in respect of the need to ensure development of tourism on waterfront in Lagos State. The prime mover of the motion is Honorable Yishawu O.G.R from Apapa 2, supported by myself, by Honorable Adams, by Honorable Miranda ML, by Honorable Mrs. Shogodara M.R, Honorable Oshuemo, Honorable Abiru R.L, Honorable Ayode L.O, Honorable Yusuf A.A, Honorable Engineer Yishawu O.G.R, Honorable Gudimu O, Honorable Togo M.A, Honorable Mojid F.A, Honorable Owolabi O.S, Honorable Lua O.F, Honorable Owolabi O.S, Honorable Akisoya A.R, A.N. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I wish to invite the prime mover to present his motion as well. Thank you, sir.
Can you please put off your lights? Now, Honorable Yishawu.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleague, good afternoon. Need to ensure development of tourism on waterfront in Lagos State.
Can you please make use of the mic? I'm so sensitive enough to pick your voice.
Need to ensure development of tourism on waterfront in Lagos State. This House notes that waterfront tourism development is crucial for the improving capacity of the state to generate more revenue by offering a variety of attractions like water sports, entertainment, arenas, parks, shopping malls, among others. This House further notes that the development of waterfront, besides boosting the revenue capacity contributes to the improvement of aesthetics of the environment and employment opportunity for the residents. Also observe that many developed cities like London, Nassau, Stockholm, Cape Town, to mention a few, have boosted their revenue generating capacity by developing the city's shoreline such that they have become popular tourist attraction in the world. Further observe that Lagos is blessed with natural aquatic splendor and abundant waterfront, namely Whispering Palms in Badagry, Takwabi in Eti-Osa, Snake Island in Amuwodofin, Ibeshe, Ofin and Ijede in Ikorodu, Imagbanlade in Ibejuleki, Ito-Omu and Ito-Osun in Epe, to mention but a few. Also aware of the Lagos State Tourism Promotion Agency Law 2019, which provides for the creation of Lagos State Tourism Promotion Agency in marketing and development of the state domestically and internationally as a major tourist destination to maximize the economic and social benefit of tourism, and is also concerned that despite the huge and untapped tourism potential and the enhancement of legislation relating to tourism infrastructure development in the state, the waterfront continue to be an haven for hoodlums and criminals in the state. Results. Call on Mr. Babatunde Olusola Sanwo-Olu, the Governor of Lagos State, to direct the Commissioner for Waterfront and Infrastructure Development to ensure that pragmatic steps are taken towards exploiting and developing tourism potential on waterfront in the state. 2. Call on the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, the Governor of Lagos State, that you should call on the Commissioner for Tourism, Art and Culture to ensure that the team's agenda, especially in the area of entertainment and tourism, implemented, and ensure that the constitution of the Lagos State Tourism Promotion Agency Board as provided for in the Lagos State Tourism Promotion Agency Law 2019. And also call on the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, as well as other relevant agencies to perform their respective responsibility with view of promoting waterfront tourism in the state. I so move.
Honorable Olawale.
Yeah, Honorable Sir, I stand to second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against nay, the ayes have it. Yeah, who goes first? Honorable Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the mover of this motion. When we look at other climes, such as America, we see that it is actually they generated about 30% of their internally generated revenue from tourism. And what is the importance of tourism? Number one, it will help to boost the economy of Lagos, especially during festive period when people came to visit our tourist centers. It will now increase our internally generated revenue. Again, we look at it that when we are planning to bring tourism very close to our state, a lot of infrastructural development will occur, and that will add to the development of the state. When we look at the environment, what do we gain in terms of our environment? That will create another good development in such a way that, again, there will be cross-cultural development. Some people will come from abroad to visit our tourist centers, make use of these tourist centers. There will be hotels built, there are bars built. It will create more job for the people, and that will add to the economy of Lagos State. So in this way, sir, I want my colleagues to actually support this bill. Dubai does not become Dubai in one day. It happens to be a desert in the 70s, but with the influence and with their tourism development, they became what it is today, a beauty to behold. The same thing, Bahamas is not what it is sometimes ago, but today they are fantastic. Cape Verde, the same thing. So I will be asking and urging my fellow colleagues to support this bill so that we can generate and benefit from tourism. And from this motion, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also stand up today to support this very motion. It's very, very thought-provoking motion. Mr. Speaker, it's very, very important that tourism is one of the most lucrative internally generated revenue and a source of employment for Lagos State yet to be tapped. And we are losing a lot of revenue for it. Mr. Speaker, as the last speaker said, Dubai created artificial tourism centers. Artificial. Lagos State has been endowed with a lot of natural resources that only need to be tapped, and the resources will be coming in. Mr. Speaker, Dubai is one of the most beautiful states in the world, even in the desert. Cuba is another example that I'm going to give. Despite the time of imperialism, the intimidation from America, Cuba was able to stand on the resources generated by revenue. Nani is very, very close to Havana. Yet if America want to launch their missile to Cuba, they will have done it successfully. But because of the attraction of tourism, they were unable to do it. And today, Cuba is one of the most essential cities where it generates revenue for sustainable of their economy. Mr. Speaker, we have Badagry in Cuba. Before I forget, Mr. Speaker, in Cuba, the slaves being transported from our own land here down to Cuba will move right away from Africa to Cuba and look at the point of no return. Yet, the originator, where they left, is yet to be tapped, and they are generating a lot of money on this. So also Port Lyon, that's in our area, Cascade Defeat. It is also there that if we develop it, then we have a lot of resources generated to the ports of Lagos State. But before then, Mr. Speaker, then Ministry of Waterfront has a lot of job to be done. They need to dredge so many of our waterways to give easy movement on the waterway. This is very highly important. And it is not that we create ministry that is not performing. So we must also ask the Ministry of Tourism, what are they spending their money on? Is highly very important, because I know that Lagos State can become Dubai of Africa, and Lagos State can also become Havana of Cuba. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, I want to lend my voice to the mover of this motion in terms of our Honorable Wahab. When you talk about tourism, Mr. Speaker, world over today, you go to Helsinki, you go to Venice, you go to other great areas, you appreciate the fact that the main support of their economy is basically tourism. And in Nigeria today, if you look at what is happening to our oil, you know that we have limited customers. So we need to harness their tourism potential. And Lagos, as a peculiar state in Nigeria, is 3,577 square kilometers, and 1/3 of that is water. That means the mainstay of our economy is supposed to be tourism, ideally. Today, he talked about going to Lekki, you are going to Ibeshe, you are going to Epe. From Bariga to Idumota, from Bariga to Third Mainland Bridge, all those areas, be it Ilaje, be it Okowaba and the likes, they are eyesores. Those supposed to be the potentials where we can harness our tourism potentials. But when you look at Lagos, that's the reason why many people go on Third Island. Lagos is very dirty. All those areas are supposed to be revamped. But Mr. Speaker, away from there, there's supposed to be a nexus between many ministries and Ministry of Tourism. For example, we need to do bathymetric survey of our waterways at ensuring that the wreckages are cleared. Without removal of the wreckages, there is no way there can be interconnectivity from one tourism center to the other. So they need to work in hand, be it urban development and planning, which has been talked about moving Okobawa to elsewhere, be it Ministry of Waterfront, be it lands and what we call New Town Development Authority, NITDA. All of them need to work together in order to harness this. Mr. Speaker, I will want probably this house, if we have your concurrence, to call on these ministries and tell us what is the pragmatic steps they need to take at ensuring that they take tourism to the next level. Apart from the fact that it generates employment, apart from the fact that it enhances our aesthetics, when we talked about movement from one place to another, it borders on when we have beach houses in the hinterlands, We are talking that we are going to Ibejulaki. We need to move from one place to another. So they need to come together and let us know what is the master plan on achieving our tourism potential in Lagos. So my colleague, I'm supporting this with every fiber in me because I know this motion is very, very germane if you are going to move Lagos to the next level. So my colleague, we have no choice than to support this motion, and after thereafter, call all the necessary agencies of government to come and tell us their plans at ensuring that we achieve our tourism potential. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Honorable respond.
Thank you, my right honorable speaker. Good afternoon, honorable colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and for this very apt motion. I'd like to thank the prime mover for this motion as well. While I do agree totally and to what my colleagues have said, I also want to say, sir, that it's very imperative that we check our MTEF, our medium-term framework. Lagos State as a state has a development plan. What is the plan towards the development of the waterfront areas as far as tourism, arts and culture is concerned? My colleagues have so intelligently explained a lot of places, cities across the world. Just Cape Town as a cited example, in a city that houses less than 10 million people, has a total of nothing less than 24 million tourist people coming every year. That is huge. It has created over 23,000 jobs. What it says is, in every NG room for development, we must make sure that we develop our small, medium scale places. It is very imperative that we call every sector important in this, in terms of the tourism, arts and culture, in terms of the physical planning, new town development, as Honorable Olowo has said, and also most importantly the waterfront ministry, to see what exactly they are doing towards achieving this team's objective, which is development, which is employment. Also not forgetting that the SDG goals must also be accomplished. In accomplishing this, you must create jobs. You must alleviate people from poverty. In doing that, you see that you can create all these things. There are so many, Mr. Speaker, but as a matter of fact, areas he called Bariga, which is a major place, Lekki, Marina, Aja, Takwabe, all these places needs to be developed. And most finally, sir, the jetty that has been created now. We have so many jetties that this administration is building. It's not only for transportation, it's to make tourism very, very reachable, approachable, easier to attain and access. So I think we need to call, let me move as well in support of what Honorable Olowo has said, in bringing these ministries together, ask them what their purpose is into coming together to building waterfront for tourism. Thank you, sir.
Majority Leader.
Sorry, sir. Mr. Speaker, this bill is good. We are blessed by nature, but we are wasting the blessing. Most of the communities hosting these waterfronts live in abject poverty. They live a very low life, unexposed life, and you pity why they are suffering in the midst of plenty. Transformation of these waterfronts by creating tourism avenue will change the lifestyle of these people. I am fortunate to be in Bahamas by the support of the House of Assembly, and it is a world on its own, an island, and they make sure that they develop almost every existing island there. Wallahi talai, I will go back to Bahamas. You live a very strange environment, and you'll be fulfilled that you are away from the hustling and bustling. They developed it, and it creates opportunities for the citizen of that particular country. Mr. Speaker, while I support the idea that there should be interministerial meeting with the necessary committee of the House to see if at all they identify the connectivity of this ministry towards tourism, which in itself is a means of revenue, a means of transforming people, a means of creating job opportunities for inhabitants of these areas. But also, Mr. Speaker, there is something inherent in this bill. The law on Tourism Promotion Agency 2019 provides for tourism promotion agency. Mr. Speaker, I am not sure this agency is in place. If it is in place, then I doubt if it has lived up to expectation. If it's not in place, I think effort should be made to quickly constitute this agency, the board for it, so that they will take up the responsibilities assigned to it under the law. Mr. Speaker, is a very good motion that will transform things in Lagos. How many islands we have on our lagoons? Do we identify them? Do we develop them? Island is a very good place to live, and most countries develop their islands to create a new life and a new set of living. Mr. Speaker, if we can pursue these recommendations here, it will be a very good thing for Lagos State. Thank you.
Right Honorable Sir, I want to call our attention to what Honorable Desmond said about South Africa. South Africa, in the entire Africa, is known as the city of gold, especially Johannesburg. And Cape Town, where we have the Robben Island, which is the center of tourism in the entire country, generated the second highest revenue for the country. And that is what South Africa survives on. However, Mr. Speaker, if we go into history, immediately after the Second World War, the entire Europe was broke to the extent that they couldn't survive in terms of having 3 square meals. What they backed on is to go back to tourism for people who want to see the relegation of the machine guns that was kept after the Second World War and other sectors to attract people to that. So they were able to revive their economy through tourism. The other issue that we call our attention to is to us in Lagos here. Because our tourism potentials, we have not developed it to the fullest. It makes our waterways being porous. If you recall, Mr. Speaker, 2016, 2017 in this country, in this state, the 2 major robbery incidents in Lagos State was through the waterways because it was porous to the Bight of Benin, and people from Bayelsa Delta can easily move into Lagos because there is no activities that is going on in our waterways. By developing our tourist centers, this will curb the insecurity in the state. Secondly, it will create employment. Thirdly, we have a lot of visitors that are coming to our country to see what we are doing, and eventually, especially in Lagos, we will not rely only allocation from the federal. The tourist allocation too will also help in pushing our budget and in pushing whatever we are doing in the state. So, Mr. Speaker, this motion, as already said by my colleagues, supported by my colleagues, I wish it will go in the direction in which we have emphasized. So I thank you for giving up.
Lastly, Honorable Jimmy Wala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I equally want to commend the prime mover for this particular motion. Yes, as one of the honorable members has said rightly, 1/3 of our landscape is on water. If we take it from the 2 ends of Lagos State, starting all the way from Badagry to Ekpe, We have huge and vast waterway systems. If we go to places like Dubai, South Africa, Venice, the Maldives, Thailand, Miami, the amount of tourism that is what the tourism generates in those places are nothing compared to what we are seeing back home in Lagos here. Yes, someone spoke about the interministerial things and the connections together. I think there's a need for a cohesion of certain ministries. When you have a Ministry of Waterfronts who needs to work with the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, there needs to be some synergy in the systems. There needs to be a synergy with that. Also, we talk about tourism and we like to emulate other countries, we like to emulate other states, but also the issue of security is very key. Without proper security, people would not want to come in to actually see what you have in terms of tourism. To this end, I wholeheartedly support this particular motion and hope we'll get something good out of it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, let me also join you to appreciate the prime mover and those who have contributed to this motion. This is a very important one to us in Lagos State, and we must do everything we can to ensure that we take advantage of our potentials in developing tourism center in Lagos State. As rightly mentioned by one of us, that most places that we also travel to, they have artificial beach. Artificial, something we have here is so natural that you can see it, you can feel it. All it takes is to develop the potentials to make the place so attractive to bring in people. And we must not allow people, I mean, not to, if you visit most of these locations, you discover that developments are going on already without regulations, without supervision. And that is what we have to do, and that is what I think this motion is talking about, for the government to take charge and control of these locations, these places, so that we can regulate from day one. It's just to put infrastructural development and allow, investors to come in and invest their fund for us to also make the place attractive. We also create employment opportunity, generate revenue. All we have to do is to ensure security by protecting the tourists and also to ensure that our waterways are free to access most of these places. I think this is a very good one, and we must emphasize the need for most of these MDAs mentioned in this motion to come together, to work together, and for the governments to give their support so we can develop these. So, Honorable Wahab Jimon, can you come with your final prayers on this?
Call on Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, the Governor of Lagos State, to direct the Commissioner for Waterfront and Infrastructure Development to ensure that pragmatic steps are taken towards exploiting and developing tourism potential on waterfront in the state. To also direct the Commissioner for Tourism, Art and Culture to ensure that the team's agenda, especially in the area of entertainment and tourism, is implemented and ensure the constitution of Lagos State Tourism Promotion Agency Board as provided for in the Lagos State Tourism Promotion Agency Law 2019. Also direct the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development as well as other relevant agencies to perform their respective responsibility with a view to promoting waterfront tourism in the state. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Majority Leader. Okay, Honorable Yishawu, Honorable Olowo, laying of reports.
Good evening, Right Honorable Speaker. Good evening, honorable colleagues. Report of the Joint Appropriation Committee of the House on the year 2022 Appropriation Bill, I-SO-LE.
Mr. Speaker, on the other paper, we have two reports to be presented. To take these reports, I wish to move that the House dissolve first to Committee of Supply to take the report of the Appropriation Committee, after which we may
Committee of the whole, come first.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. I wish to say that we dissolve to Committee of the whole first to take the report of the Committee on Education Tertiary. Then subsequently, we dissolve to Committee of Supply.
You still have to come out of the Committee of the whole. We still have to depart from the Committee of Whole to come back to plenary before going to...
As the Speaker pleases.
Thank you, sir.
As the Speaker pleases. So I move that we dissolve to Committee of the whole. So,
Honorable Tijani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Ajadi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. Second allotted day for the report of the Committee on Education, Tertiary Institutions on a bill for a law to provide for the establishment of the University of Education, Lagos, UNEDLAG, and for connected purposes. You would recall that the House at its plenary session of Thursday, the 1st of July 2021, considered the report of the Committee on Education on the University of Education Lagos Bill 2021, after which a second allotted day was given to the committee to resolve the gray areas observed by the House. Consequently, the committee met and recommends as follows recommendations. 1. The definition of UNEDLAG be deleted and replaced with LSHA to mean Lagos State University of Education. 2. Clause 39(1) be redrafted to read, the university shall operate a multi-campus system with the main campus in Adeniran-Ogunsoya, Otoejaniki, and its annex at Michael Otedola, Noforija Ekpe, and any other locations as may be determined by the visitor or council from time to time. Conclusion. The committee expresses its gratitude to the Right Honorable Speaker and members for the opportunity given it to carry out this assignment. We also appreciate the Acting Clerk of the House and the Secretariat for their support at ensuring a timely completion of this report. Thank you, Honorable Owolabi I, Chairman, Committee on Education, Tertiary Institutions.
Honorable Olowo. Mr. Speaker, my colleague, I move that the recommendation of the committee be adopted. The report of the committee be adopted for debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby second the motion as well.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Tijani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I think this is the two items that arose during the last presentation, which has been retracted. Mr. Speaker, I want to move that this recommendation of the committee as presented should be adopted as resolution of the House. Thank you. I so move.
Honorable Plenary.
Moved by Honorable Tijani. I second the motion that moved by Honorable
He
Tijani.
moved his motion on his own. So, that is all.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, also, I think I was here on the last day. I think this is the two areas that we mentioned, and I think the committee have been able to do the needful on the gray area of the bill, sir.
Review on this.
I mean, the review of their report, sir.
Review of that.
What you move?
Review of that and second recommendation. And submission.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just think that under that motion, that it will be appropriate to couch the recommendation elegantly, that the university shall operate a multi-campus system with the main campus in Adeniro Ogunsoya College of Education, Otojanikin, and its annex at Michael Otedola College of Primary Education, not Michael Otedola. Thank you, sir.
Well, in addition to that, the second recommendation that the visitor or council from time to time, other location may decide, and any other locations as may be determined, any other locations. So we have to be very careful the way we word, couch our, our laws. I mean, because we have seen, we have read, and we have heard about, people choosing just to benefit their communities, without consultation, without anything. So somebody may just wake up one day and decide to take it to his backyard. So with this position, I mean the way it's being drafted here, so there's nothing to stop such person. So we have to be careful. That is why, one, I think it should be subjected to the Lagos regulation approval law and some other things, so that it should not be to the whim and caprices of any other person, anybody. So we just have to board it in such manner that it will make sense, and when decision is to be taken, there should be considerations for others' opinions and views before we arrive at conclusion. So just I think this place should be rewarded. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, while I agree with what you have said, I still also believe, Mr. Speaker, that any other location, as may be determined by the visitor, cannot become effective unless the bill creating the university is amended, and it cannot be amended without the proposal coming to the House of Assembly, where we will determine whether it will go.
Do we have to amend laws because we want to establish? I don't think it's It's unnecessary to bring the law just because we want to create, what is it called, another campus. I don't think it's what it's, so we should just subject it to regulations. So it should be, I think in the bill, as we speak, we have provision for that if they are introducing anything, it has to be subjected to the regulations approval law.
Okay, Mr.
So by so doing, it will come back and the committee can just handle it without, disturbing the House with the process of law amendments.
Okay, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would just want to chip in this that from time to time, after that time to time, subject to the regulation approval law, and that settles that, sir. Thank you.
They should even remove the time to time, be determined by visitor or council from time, all those ones should go. Should be removed. They should just be removed. It's subject to time So I think that line should be taken away out of it and be redrafted. So, Honorable Tijani, can you move your motion?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tijani, not Ajani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. After all the deliberation, I move the recommendation of the committee as presented be adopted as a resolution of the House. I so move. As amended.
Honorable Afeni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House reverts to plenary. I so move.
Honorable Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, as the committee of the whole, we took the presentation of the chairman, we took the recommendation of the Committee on Education Tertiary Institution presented by the chairman, Honorable Owolabi I. The recommendations of the committee were deliberated upon. Minor amendment was done to the recommendation, and the recommendations were adopted as the resolution of the House subject to the amendment made to it. Mr. Speaker, I wish to state that that's what transpired at the committee of the whole. Thank you.
Honorable Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby affirm that that is what transpired at the committee of the whole.
Honorable Tijani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the affirmation.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, left for the House to consider is House of Assembly Bill number 43, Appropriation Bill 2022, which report is to be presented by the Chairman Appropriation Committee. To take the presentation, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that the House dissolve to Committee of Supply. I so move.
Honorable Elliott.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Honorable Yishawu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good evening once again. Reports of Joint Appropriation Committee of the Year of the House on Year 2022 Appropriation Bill. Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished members of the House, I'm delighted to present the report of the Joint Committee of Appropriation, that is the Joint Committee on Economic Planning and Budget and the Committee on Finance on the year 2022 Appropriation Bill, being the upcoming year's budget presented by Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Governor of Lagos State, on Wednesday, 24th November 2021 to this 9th Assembly. Subsequently, the House at its sitting of Tuesday, 30th November 2021, took the second reading of the bill and committed same to the Joint Committee on Appropriation with other standing committees of the House as subcommittees for necessary scrutiny of ministries, departments, and agencies proposal under their purview. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this third budget presentation by the current administration, tagged Budget of Consolidation, is aimed at charting a definite course of change to meet with recent events of global and national proportion. Review of year 2021 revised budget. The Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished members, would recall
Can you just please ignore those ones and go to your observations?
Mr. Speaker, you want me to go straight to recommendation because the observations and the recommendations
Okay, you may go to
are practically the same thing. Recommendation is on page 13, Mr. Speaker. The committee hereby recommends as follows. 1. The sum of 3 million naira be the new revenue of the Office of the Secretary to the State Government. 2. The sum of 2.5 billion naira be the new overhead cost of the Office of Civic Engagement. 3. The funds of Office of Central Internal Audit and Office of Special Advisor on Audit be merged as follows. Overhead cost 420 million 8,671 naira 10 kobo, and capital expenditure 56 million 556,250 naira. 4. The sum of 3 million naira and 7 million naira be the new revenue and overhead costs respectively of Parastatal Monitoring Office. 5. The sum of 239,991,000 naira be the new overhead cost of Liaison Office. 6. The sum of 4 million, then 525 million and 196,525,000 be the new revenue, overhead cost and capital expenditure respectively of the Office of Auditor General for Local Government. 7. The sum of 5,611 million and 134,525,000 be the new revenue, overhead cost and capital expenditure respectively of the Office of the State Auditor General. 8. The sum of 211,267,645 naira 42 kobo be the new overhead cost of Audit Service Commission. 9. The sum of 20 million naira be the capital expenditure of the Office of Transformation and Innovation. 10. The sum of 12 billion 371 the sum of 6 billion 647,591,549 naira be the new capital expenditure for the purchase of operational vehicles in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. 12. The sum of 10,621,000 the sum of 10,621,506,417 naira be the new capital expenditure counterpart fund in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. 13. The sum of 22,714,814,177 naira be the new capital expenditure for special expenditure vote in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. 14. The vote heads balance of bond and FGN loan proceeds, capital receipt, and balance of bond and FGN loan proceeds project be created with a sum of 54,707,393,529 naira each in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget and the Office of Infrastructure in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure respectively. 15. The sum of 8,048,758,949 naira, then 6,097,510,895 naira, and 200,472,689 naira be the new overhead, capital expenditure and subvention respectively for the contingency fund MEPB. 16. The budget line overhead cost augmentation of running costs for SSA statewide be created with a sum of 150 million naira in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. 17. The sums of 61,816,517 naira and 154,015,000 naira be the new capital expenditure of the ministry and upgrade of central record respectively of the Ministry of the Establishments, Training and Pensions. 18. The sums of 2,940,818,699 naira and 20 million naira be the new global training vote and National Council on Establishment respectively of the Ministry of Establishment, Training and Pensions. 19. The sum of 600,000, then 540,134,186 naira and 150 million be the new revenue, overhead cost and capital expenditure respectively of Civil Service Commission. 20. The sums of 387,543,337 naira and 1 billion naira be the new subvention and capital expenditure of Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center. 21. The sum of 248,241,875 naira be the new capital expenditure of Public Service Club. 22. The sum of 47,342,456 naira be the new overhead cost of Civil Service Pensions Office. 23. The sum of 252,771,928 naira be the new subvention of the Lagos State Pension Commission. 24. The sum of 150 million be the new capital expenditure of investment in Ibile Microfinance. 25. The sum of 44,713,769 naira be the new overhead cost of Land Use Appeal Tribunal. 26. The sum of 1,487,362,500 naira be the new payment of land use charge to revenue collection consultant 7.5% in the Ministry of Finance. 27. The sums of 4,755,035,100 naira and 1.2 billion naira be the new revenue and dedicated revenue/expenditure respectively for State Treasury Office. 28. The sum of 22,575 million naira be the new revenue opening balance in the State Treasury Office. 29. The sum of 72,750 million be the new revenue statutory allocation in the State Treasury Office. 30. The sum of 179,419 million be the new revenue value added tax in the State Treasury Office. 31. The sum of 191,428,341 naira be the new overhead cost of Debt Management Office. 32, the sum of 20 billion and 1 billion be the new overhead cost, capital expenditure respectively for Lagos Internal Revenue Service. 33, the sum of 473 million, 13 billion 658 million 640,450 naira, 6.3 billion and 700 million be the new revenue CRF, capital development outflow, capital receipt inflow, dedicated revenue and expenditure respectively of the Lagos State Lotteries Board. 34. The unlisted funds be the capital development outflow of the following MDAs. Office of A, Office of Administrator General 36 million, Lotteries Board 7 billion 658 million 640,450 naira, Judiciary Construction of Commercial Court Tapa 822 million 266,749 naira, Lagos State Safety Commission 10 million, Ministry of Agric Appeals Fund 5 billion, Lamata Transport Fund Maintenance including the 2 billion 929 million 621,073 naira being 4 billion 27 million 621,073 naira, Lamata AFG 4.25 billion, Ministry of Health 10% COVID test and vaccine 1 billion, Sport Trust Fund including 1 billion development, capital development is 1.45 billion. With the following sums be the dedicated expenditure: J, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources Development 388 million, Lasura 30 million naira, all both dedicated. 35. The sum of 2 billion and 1 billion 201 million 601,988 naira be the new revenue and capital expenditure of Lagos State Public Procurement Agency. 36. The sum of 1 billion 228 million 719,197 naira be the new overhead cost public enlightenment (enlightenment and campaign statewide vote) of the Ministry of Information. 37. The sum of 1.8 billion and 2.1 billion be the new dedicated revenue / expenditure and subvention respectively for the Lagos State Printing Corporation. 38. The sum of 450 million and 450,000 and 264 million 375,000 be the new revenue and capital expenditure respectively for the Lagos State Records and Archives Bureau. 39. The sum of 80 million and 4 billion 794 million 424,724 naira be the new revenue and capital expenditure respectively for Ministry of Local Government and Community Affairs. 40. The sum of 500 million naira, 219 million 579,272 naira and 850 million be the new overhead cost, capital expenditure and subvention respectively for Center for Rural Development. 41. The sum of 50 million naira be the dedicated revenue / expenditure for the 1% training fund deducted from all local governments / LCDs. 42. The sum of 481 million be the new overhead cost, enterprise license and budget line overhead cost, Oracle non-support system and smart city project be created with the sum of 499 million and 151 million naira respectively in the Ministry of Science and Technology. 43. The sum of 10 billion naira, 551 million 12,500 and 2.5 billion naira be the new capital expenditure smart city project, smart city monitoring and evaluation and Lagos new data center respectively for Ministry of Science and Technology. 44. The sum of 90,342,058 naira be the new revenue of the Lagos State Resident Registration Agency. 45. The sum of 1,389,8 the sum of 1,389,821,076 naira be the new personnel cost of the Ministry of Justice. 46, the sum of 50 million naira be the new revenue CRF and dedicated revenue/expenditure each for Office of Administrator General. 47, the budget lines revenue, subvention and capital expenditure be created with the sums of 500,000 naira, 627,433,000 and 100 million naira respectively for the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. 48, the sum of 1,102,409,270 naira be the new subvention LSHA election project of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission. 49, the sum of 7 million naira be the new capital expenditure for the Office of Public Defender. 50, the sum of 115,953,576 naira be the new subvention of Citizen Mediation Center. 51, the sum of 229,017,738 naira be the new subvention of the Lagos Law Reform Commission. 52, the sums of 69,806,470 naira, 115,939,321 naira be the subventions of Law Enforcement Training Institute (LETI) and training of uniformed men respectively for Law Enforcement Training Institute. 53, the sum of 4,363,726,155 naira and 5,226,663,568 naira be the new revenue, overhead cost, capital expenditure and capital expenditure respectively for the Lagos State Judiciary. 54, the sums of 600,000,000, then 284,558,500 naira and 126,806,906 naira be the new revenue, overhead cost and capital expenditure of the Lagos State Judiciary Service Commission. 55, the sum of 3 million and the sum of 406,800,000 naira be the new revenue and personnel cost of the 1,356 Legion and Civil Defense Staff allowance respectively for Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations. 56, the sums of 62,420,000, 145,180,000, 1,858,081,738 naira and 1,539,071,031 naira be the new revenue, dedicated revenue/expenditure, overhead cost and capital expenditure respectively for the State Fire and Rescue Service. 57, the sum of 142 million and the sum of 225,190,216 naira be the new revenue and capital expenditure respectively for Lagos State Safety Commission. 58, the sum of 1,011,925,521 naira be the new personnel cost of the Ministry of Agriculture. 59, the sum of 4.8 billion be the new capital expenditure, agro-processing, productive enhancement and livelihood support appeals of the Ministry of Agriculture. 60, the sum of 719,474,589 naira and 347,402,997 naira capital expenditure and subventions be the capital expenditure and subventions of the Lagos State Coconut Development Authorities, Lagos State Agric Development Authority, Lagos State Agri Input Supply Authority, and Agri Land Holding Authority be moved to Capital Expenditure and Subvention, Ministry of Agric Augmentation Fund in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. 61. The sums of 250 million naira and the sum of 201,960,835 naira and 177,936,677 naira be the new dedicated revenue / expenditure, capital expenditure and subvention respectively for Lagos State Cooperative College. 62. The sums of 10 million naira and 60,662,429 naira be the new revenue and personnel costs respectively for Central Business Districts. 63. The sum of 200 million be the new capital expenditure for Office of Sustainable Development Goal. 64. The sums of 516,827,894 naira and 150 million be overhead and capital expenditure of the Ministry of Wealth Creation. Overhead cost 100,233,623 naira for virtual market database portal for artisan/tradesmen in LGs and local government. 650 million for graduate internship program, 126,255,505 for wealth creation state cash transfer unit SATU. Capital expenditure 1,641,321,561 for creation of industrial hub and 846,274,480 naira for wealth creation be moved to contingency fund in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget as the ministry did not appear before the committee. 65. The sum of 100 million and 350 million be the new revenue CRF of the Ministry and capital expenditure statewide geological survey respectively for the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. 66. The sum of 60 million naira be the new revenue of the Lagos State Electricity Board. 67. The sums of 4,012,800,000 and 8,547,767,597 naira be the new subvention rehabilitation and installation of street lights and capital expenditure rehabilitation and installation of street lights respectively for the Lagos State Electricity Board. 68. The sum of 240 million naira be the new personnel cost of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. 69. The sum of 40 million be the new capital expenditure of Council for Arts and Culture. 70. The sum of 5,140,611,036 naira be the new capital expenditure of the Lagos State Parking Authority. 71. The sum of 150 million be the new revenue of the Lagos State Drivers Institute. 72. The sum of 1 billion be the new revenue mega city transport initiative in the Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, while the capital receipt and capital development of the same vote be nil. 73. The sum of 24,062,796,917 naira be the new capital expenditure Lamata/LSTMPP1/AFD of Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. 74. The sum of 10,560,000,000 be created for the capital expenditure Lamata LSTMPP1 IFC in the Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. 75. The budget line capital expenditure blue line Central Bank /DCCR and red line Central Bank /DCCR be created with the sums of 60 billion naira and 93 billion naira respectively for the Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. 76. The sum of 150 million and 5,286,000 1,917,443 naira be the new revenue and dedicated revenue / expenditure respectively for number plate production authority. 77, the sums of 155 million and sum of 520,714,442 naira and 3,367,677 naira be the new revenue, subvention and capital expenditure respectively for the Lagos State Waterways Authority. 78, the sum of 493,786,239 naira and 1,359,112,442 naira be the new subvention and capital expenditure respectively for Lagos Ferry Service. 79, the sum of 2,783,517,888 naira be the new capital expenditure of Office of Works and 1,260,501,220 naira be the capital expenditure construction of Ogombo ShopRite network of roads in Eti-Osa Office of Infrastructure in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. 80, the budget lines capital expenditure PPP outstanding, project stabilization fund, rebuild Lagos project trust fund with sums of 113,910,423 naira and 15,938,349,339 naira and 5.85 billion respectively be deleted in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. 81, the sum of 6,629,441, the sum of 6,629,441,440 naira be the new capital expenditure construction of new strategic roads Igbobo-Bayeku, Surulere, Ijede Phase 2, construction of Ikoyi and Obalende roads in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. 82, the sums of 1,170 million and the sum of 600 million and the sum of 230 million be the new revenue CRF, dedicated revenue / expenditure and capital receipt inflow / development outflow respectively for Lagos State Infrastructural Maintenance Regulatory Agency. 83, the sum of 5,199,886,610 be the new subvention road maintenance PWC in the Public Works Corporation. 84, the sum of 4,126,223,565 naira and the sum of 16,348,780,832 naira and 5,897,724,072 naira be the new capital expenditure construction of jetties and terminals, channelization and holistic shorelines and other projects respectively for the Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development. 85, the sums of 4,029,852,859 naira be the new capital expenditure of the Office of Drainage Services and the capital expenditure drainage construction and dredging and drainage maintenance IFAC be created with the sums of 31,550,198,728 naira and 9,385,686 naira, 686,915 naira respectively in the Office of Drainage Services. 86, the sum of 700 million and 350 million be the new revenue CRF and dedicated revenue / expenditure respectively of the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency. 87, the sum of 50 million be the new revenue of the Lagos State Environmental and Special Offences. 88, the sum of 200,472,689 naira and 279,472,927 naira for subvention and capital expenditure in the Lagos State waste water management be moved to the contingency fund in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget as they did not appear before the committee. 89. The sum of 12,105 million naira and 5 billion naira be the new subvention and capital expenditure of Lagos State Waste Management Agency. 90. The budget line capital expenditure street lamps / directional signposts be created with the sum of 227 million naira in the Lagos State Signage and Advertisement Agency. 91. The sum of 1,040,339,960 naira be the new capital expenditure of the Lagos State Parks and Gardens. 92. The sum of 200 million be the new revenue of Water Regulatory Commission. 93. The sum of 28,112,807,779 naira be the new capital expenditure of the Ministry of Housing. 94. The sum of 1.5 billion be the new capital expenditure re-engineering of the Lagos State Ministry of Housing Estates in the Ministry of Housing. 95. The sum of 150 million be the new capital expenditure of the Lagos State Mortgage Board. 96. The sum of 613,078,178 naira be the new capital expenditure of the Lagos State Valuation Office. 79. The sum of 250,500,000 naira and 606,400,204 naira be the new overhead cost and capital expenditure respectively for the Office of Surveyor General. 98. The sum of 467,580,073 naira be the new overhead cost of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, and 3 billion naira for capital expenditure, Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Okubaba Resettlement in the ministry. 99. The sum of 4.5 billion be the new CRF of the Lagos State Building Control Agency. 100. The sum of 1 billion naira and the sum of 395,856,100 naira be the new revenue and capital expenditure respectively for material testing laboratory. 101. The sum of 3 billion be the new capital development outflow of the New Towns Development Authority. 102. The sum of 10 million be the new revenue of Lagos State Planning and Environmental Monitoring Authority. 103. The sum of 200 million be the new revenue of Lasura. 104. The sum of 3 billion and 6,656,789,381 naira be the new capital development outflow and capital expenditure slum regeneration, Somolu and Ibejuleki respectively for the Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency. 105. The sum of 1,268,350,718 naira be the new capital expenditure redevelopment of Isalegongo of Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency. 106. The sum of 5,6,806,187 naira be the new capital expenditure construction of new Mercy Children Hospital in the Ministry of Health. 107. The sum of 1.5 billion be the new capital expenditure payment of outstanding liabilities of Ministry of Health. 105. The sum of 150 million be the new overhead cost of Lagos State Health Monitoring and Accreditation Agency. I think that's FEMA. 109. The sum of 56,310,871 naira be the new overhead cost of Badagry General Hospital. 110. The sum of 220,786,285 naira be the new overhead cost of Alimashaw Hospital. 111. The sum of 721,767,517 naira be the new capital expenditure of the Lagos State College of Medicine, LASUCOM project. 112. The sum of 1.7 billion be the new subvention of the Lagos State Teaching Hospital, LASUT. 113. The sum of 2,781,480,799 naira be the new capital expenditure of Primary Health Care Board. 114. The sum of 388,326,444 naira and 377,965,645 naira be the new subvention and capital expenditure respectively of the Lagos State AIDS Control Agency. 115. The sum of 88,546,843 naira be the new subvention of the Lagos State Accident and Emergency Center. 116. The sum of 7,714,841,177 naira for the construction of a stadium be moved to the special expenditure in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. 117. The sum of, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the line that I just read, 116, is already struck out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 117. The sum of 100 million being the new revenue of the Ministry of Education. 118. The sum of 435 million naira being the new capital expenditure of the Office of Quality Education Quality Assurance. 119. The sum of 5,730,197,680 naira be the new Education Trust Fund of the Office of the Special Advisor on Education. 120. The budget line capital expenditure be created with a sum of 10 million for each of educational districts 1 to 6. 121. The sum of 10 million be the new revenue of Agency for Mass Education. 122. The sum of 800 million be the new revenue of the Lagos State Examination Board. 123. The sum of 162,317,988 naira be the new capital expenditure of acquired accreditation in the Eti-Osa Il College of Primary Education. 124. The sum of 100,600,000 be created for Mokoped accreditation in the Michael Otedola College of Primary Education. 125. The sum of 25 million naira be the new revenue of the Lagos State Scholarship Board. 126. The sum of 135 million be the new dedicated revenue / expenditure of the Lagos State College of Nursing and Midwifery. 127. The sum of 11 million naira be the new revenue of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. 128. The sum of 9,547,786,112 naira be the new capital expenditure of Ibile Oil and Gas under the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. 129. Pardon me for numbering. 129. That the sum of 3,972,461,529 naira be the overhead of the Lagos State Sports Commission. Also, that the sum of 1,379,337,780 naira and 4,640,618,762 naira be the subvention and capital expenditure respectively for the Neighborhood Safety Corps in the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the State Accountant General should ensure seamless access of MDAs to their earned dedicated revenue and capital received as approved in the year's budget. 130. That all proposed irrevocable standing payment order and new funding of the budget be forwarded to the House of Assembly for approval and when necessary for supplementary appropriation before execution. The total value of ISPOs observed is 143,478,995,071 naira 56 kobo. 131. The Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget should desist from using special expenditure vote and contingency fund to fund expenditures that are already in the yearly estimates of the NDAs without approval from the House. That this be stated in the year 2022 Appropriation Law. 132. The Lagos State Wharf Landing Fees Collection Authority should appear before the House for clarification on why they failed to appear before the Committee for scrutiny of its year 2021 income/expenditure and its projected activities for year 2022. The year 2022 budget size is 1,758,196,646,844 naira. Mr. Speaker, permit me to take that again. 1,758,196,844 naira, with the sums of 591,280,803,486 naira as recurrent expenditure and 1,166,915,843,558 naira, 358 naira as the capital expenditure. This gives a budget ratio of 66 to 34 capital to recurrent. Conclusion. The Joint Committee expresses its gratitude to the Right Honorable Speaker and entire honorable members of the House for the opportunity afforded members of the Joint Committee and Secretariat to work on the year 2022 Appropriation Bill presented by the Governor of Lagos State. Our appreciation also goes to the Acting Clerk of the House and the entire House bureaucracy for their support. We hope that the recommendation hearing meets your expectations for approval. Thank you. Signed, Honorable Olowo R.E, Chairman, Economic Plan and Budget, and Honorable Rotimi Emmanuel Olowo, Chairman, Finance Committee. Thank you.
Honorable Rahim Kazu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby move that the report of the Joint Committee on Appropriation and Finance should be adopted for debate.
Honorable Tijani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Who has the light? Honorable Babu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, fellow members. Good evening. I want to commend the Joint Committee on a job painstakingly done. However, Mr. Speaker, I have a few concerns, observations, and also wish to seek some clarifications, sir. From this document here, I see the committee increasing the proposed budget by almost 400 billion naira. The proposed budget sent to us is 1.388 trillion. And what we want to hand back to them is about 1.785 trillion. My concern really is the funding of this budget. I agree that the economy of Lagos is quite huge, but the very first observation when the budget was presented was, how do we get this budget funded? So I would want the committee to explain why, how they have seen that this budget is to be funded, putting in mind that the financing gap has brought is not, this financing gap, based on what was brought, will be much higher. I don't know how. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, I had the opportunity of being part of the bilateral discussion. And part of what I noticed is that the state has potential to generate revenue. However, there are some issues that are clear, having passed the laws by this house. The issue of fiscalization is there, and the issue of enhancing the capacity of LIRS into collecting funds is also there. Year in, year out, we cannot be talking about completing revenue house, and that is where we are again this year. I wouldn't know. I know that the committee has considered providing money for them, which has been done over the years. But on the part of the executive themselves, these monies, they hardly provide these monies. So I don't know how they expect them to generate such revenues to meet up funding of this budget. Away from this, Mr. Speaker, I also had the chairman, from the report read that there are 3 agencies were mentioned: Ministry of Wealth Creation, Wharf Landing, and I think Wastewaters. In the observation, it was said on observation that 2 of those agencies did not appear before their committee. I wouldn't know whether, because in the recommendation, it was only Wharf Landing that they particularly pointed out, that did not appear. I would also like to know whether eventually Wastewater and Ministry of Wealth Creation eventually appeared, because if you look at the recommendation, the observation as it is on page observation 15, it was clear there that Ministry of Wealth Creation and Lagos State Wastewater Management failed to appear before the committee, but in the commission I'm only seeing Wharf Landing. So I would want them to explain to us, what eventually happened. Then, sir, again, sir, recommendations, that one borders on the revenue. Maybe in the course of the explanation, maybe they will touch that, because again, recommendation number 28, 29 spoke to the effect of increasing revenue. Then, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also want clarification on recommendation number 14, where they said they voted, balance of bond and federal government loan proceeds. I don't think, I want them to explain what this recommendation 14 really means. It has to do with Ministry of Works and Economic Planning, talking about the balance of bond and federal government loan proceeds, just for knowledge sake, sir. Then, sir, they spoke about ISPO, recommendation number 130, that the total value of ISPO observed is 147 billion. I don't know if they can avail us the breakdown, because ISPOs are money standing in credit of some other people on behalf of government in the current year. I don't, if they could just also shed light on the composition of this 147 billion ISPO that they have observed. Yeah, 147 billion. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, the Commission 116. I again do not know why they have decided to move the sum of 7.714 billion for construction of 8 stadia from the proposed Okay, it's been cancelled. Thank you very much. That will be all from me, sir. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Yishawu, can you respond to the questions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Let me start with the last question. The last question was with respect to the lotteries board. I did apologize that has been struck out, so it's not applicable in this case. The vote head 14, which I believe will also answer part of the questions you earlier asked, is that apparently this year 2021, the state has taken on some bonds and taken on some loans. An example is the 18 billion naira loan that's been approved by this house, that was approved last week, and the bonds that was also approved during the course of the year. They cannot exhaust it, so they are rolling it over. So it comes in as a rollover of the balance of the bonds and loans and goes out to the projects, which all of them are capital projects, and apparently they are under the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. That is the reason why you saw that movement. And I would quickly use that to explain the largest part of the increase in the budget. All those loans, like this one is, the one we just mentioned is one, the ISPOs, which were not in the budget before, we had to recognize some of those monies that are due this year in the budget. The loans for blue and red line, which is about 153 billion on its own, and so on and so forth. Those are the capital monies that came into the budget that actually took the budget up by over 300 billion. That is the reason. Not that we added money. Even as a matter of fact, the executive was actually asking us to even help them put them in the budget. That was item, but we already discovered it anyway. So when we told them, they were very happy to have it because they needed to recognize these funds in the budget for proper disclosure, and that is the only way that it could be done. Without it in the budget, some of the ISPOs will not fall through. Some of the loans will not fall through because there has to be budgetary provision for it. The wealth creation and wastewater, there are monies. Of course, we can't move their salaries and revenue, but their other funds were moved into the contingency fund so that they need to follow that route before approval will be given for their expenditure. So we moved all the funds to the contingency funds of the state. For wharf landing, because wharf landing does not really have any budgetary provision within the budget, but the fact is that they are taking on money on behalf of the state and they're expending as well. They need to have a budget. That is why we stated that they need to appear. So that's what happened in that area. I don't know if there's any other question you asked, if I've missed.
The budget size.
Yeah, just answer the budget size, sir.
All right.
Yeah. The funding, the funding is already done. In short, if you notice, the capital end of the ratio to recurrent is 66 to 34. As we speak, almost 500-600 billion of the budget is already funded. As you see, because there are monies being rolled over, money is already taken, and so on and so forth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Motion for adoption. There is no further. Honorable Victor Kondi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a right to move a motion that the recommendation of the committee be the resolution of the House.
Be adopted.
Be adopted as the resolution of the House. Thank you.
Honorable Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the motion as well.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Approval on sectoral allocations. 1. Governance. That the sums of 2,309,131,601 naira for personnel, 12,336,255,068 naira for overhead costs, and 2,214,494,613 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. House of Assembly. That the sums of 762,990,221 naira for personnel costs, 12,371,000,000 naira for overhead costs, 30,891,768,224 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Economic planning and budget. That sums of 383,349,898 naira for personnel costs, 27,187,729,075 naira for overhead costs, 63,182,127,471 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Establishment and training. That the sums of 54,169,489,359 naira for personnel costs, 4,872,419,796 for overhead costs, 2,565,520,343 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Finance. That the sum of 672,490,158 naira for personnel costs, 138,838,264,054 naira for overhead costs, and 5,286,467,771 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Information and strategy. That the sums of 729,634,870 naira for personnel costs, 1,346,780,491 naira for overhead costs, and 2,690,025,701 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Local governments. That the sums of 552,209,016 naira for personnel costs, 2,219,100,000 naira for overhead costs, 6,593,470,404 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Science and technology. That sums of 560,127,429 naira for personnel costs, 1,369,555,715 naira for overhead costs, 20,081,994,163 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Justice. That sums of 1,409,032,257 naira for personnel costs, 1,036,714,288 naira for overhead costs. 4,194,483,906 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Judiciary. The sums of 2,791,105,707 naira for personnel. 4,648,284,655 naira for overhead costs. 5,483,027,234 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Special duties. That the sums of 5,887,035,733 naira for personnel costs. 13,541,066 naira for overhead costs. 26,082,639,620 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Agriculture. The sums of 1,11,925,521 naira for personnel costs. 185,809,794 naira for overhead costs. 15,869,936,370 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Commerce, industry and cooperatives. That the sums of 904,189,369 naira for personnel costs. 2,957,503,769 naira for overhead costs. 2,501,249,433 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Wealth creation and employment. That the sums of 270,160,296 naira for personnel costs and 2,500,000,000 for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Energy and mineral resources. That the sums of 353,199,773 naira for personnel costs. 600,418,276 naira for overhead costs. 27,212,600,517 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Tourism, arts and culture. The sums of 240 million naira for personnel costs. 2,643,000,000 naira. 2,643,992,557 naira for overhead costs. 1,650,000,004,301 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Transportation. The sums of 7,614,332,187 naira for personnel costs. 900,146,578 naira for overhead costs. 230,569,493,802 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Works and infrastructure. That the sums of 1,027,719,042 naira for personnel costs. 352,229,137 naira for overhead costs. 136,638,670,340 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Waterfronts infrastructure development. The sums of 196,748,511 naira for personnel. 210,162,364 naira for overhead costs, and 29,185,580,714 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Environment, that the sums of 2,102,303,002 naira for personnel costs, 3,106,198,099 naira for overhead costs, and 63,64,102,140 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Housing, the sums of 253,711,261 naira for personnel costs, 695,549,649 naira for overhead costs, 29,841,662,093 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against me, the ayes have it. Lands, the sums of 901,167,402 naira for personnel costs, 1,483,118,419 naira for overhead costs, 16,129,708,614 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Physical planning and urban development, that is sums of 3,124,128,268 naira for personnel, 466,480,073 naira for overhead costs, 19,208,697,263 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Health, that sums of 46,187,642,360 naira for personnel costs, 15,985,591,042 naira for overhead costs, 37,877,621,224 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Home affairs, the sums of 273,816,780 naira for personnel, 2,435,187,367 naira for overhead costs, 1,700,753,596 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Sport development, that is sums of 336,541,789 naira for personnel costs, 1,177,461,529 naira for overhead costs, 2,032,780,394 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Education, that the sums of 53,634,741,218 naira for personnel costs, 9,280,409,763 naira for overhead costs, and 842,478,703 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. There are sums of 299,097,694 naira for personnel costs, 2,774,040,772 naira for overhead costs, 2,169,523,959 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Youth and Social Development. That the sum of 734,502,723 naira for personnel, 2,188,549,572 naira for overhead costs, 1,530,936,959 naira for capital stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Grand total. That the grand total of 591,280,803,486 naira for recurrent expenditure, 1,166,915,843,380 naira for capital expenditure stand as part of the schedule. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Budget size. That the sum of 1,758,196,646,844 naira being total budget size stand as part of the schedule to the Appropriation Bill 2022. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House reverts to plenary. As well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Yeah, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, at the Committee of Supply, we took the report of the Joint Appropriation Committee of the House on the year 2022 Appropriation Bill. The report presented by the chairman invited few questions which were answered and clarifications made in respect of the report. Subsequently, the recommendations of the Joint Committee were approved as the recommendation, as the resolution of the House. Subsequently, sectorial approval were given to allocations in the bill, in the report. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that that is what transpired at the Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to affirm that that was what transpired at the Committee of Supply.
Honorable Fabi Said.
Honorable Speaker, I want to second the affirmation.
All in favor say aye. Those against me, the ayes have it. The third reading, Honorable Yishawu.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. That a bill for a law to authorize the issuance and appropriation of 591 billion, 280 million.
I think they have given you a wrong reason to. Yours is for the third reading to move.
Mr. Speaker?
Yeah.
Third reading.
It's not that a bill for a law to authorize, it's for you to move for the third reading.
Is the motion, then at the end I move. Mr. Speaker, I'm under your guidance, sir.
Instead of that a bill, I hereby for the third reading that's also amount, then you continue.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I hereby make a motion to authorize the issuance and appropriation of 591 billion, 280 million, 803,486 naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for Recurrent Expenditure and 1,166 billion, 915 million, 843,358 naira from the Development Fund for Capital Expenditure, thereby totaling a budget size of 1,758,196,646,888 naira for the year ending 31st December 2022 be read a third time. I so move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the guidance.
That a bill for a law to authorize the issuance and appropriation of 591 billion, 280 million, 803,486 naira from Consolidated Revenue Fund for Recurrent Expenditure and 1,166 billion, 915 million, 843,358 naira from Development Fund for Capital Expenditure, thereby totaling a budget size of 1,558 billion, 196 million, 646,844 naira for the year ending December 2022 be passed into law. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, kindly send the bill passed into law to Mr. Governor for his assent. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I wish to inform the House that the clean draft of the bill to provide for establishment and construction of the administration of Lagos State University of Education and for connected purposes is ready, incorporating the resolution of the House on the report of the committee. And sequel to Order 81 of the rules of the House, I wish to move that we abridge the time to accommodate the third reading of the said bill. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Victor Kodo. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the third reading of a bill to provide for the establishment, constitution, functions, and administration of the Lagos State University of Education and for other purposes be read for the third time. I so move.
Honorable Surat.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. It is a great honor and privilege to read for the third time a bill for a law to provide for the establishment, constitution, functions, and administration of the Lagos State University of Education and for connected purposes. Thank you, sir.
A bill for a law to provide for the establishment, constitution, and functions and administration of the Lagos State University of Education and for connected purposes. Page 1, 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, 7, page 8, 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, 13, page 14, 15, 16, page 17, 18, 19, page 20, 21, page 22, page 23, 24, page 25, 26, 27, 28, page 29, page 30, page 31, and to the schedule, page 32, page 33, page 34, 35, page 36, page 37, page 38, page 39, page 40, 41, page 42, page 43, page 44, page 45. Yes, Honorable.
Page 36, sir.
What?
Page 36.
You're right.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, sir. So, page 36, I think the heading of that schedule should read what? The heading in that of that schedule should read last word, not
you have just done that. This
page 36.
That has been corrected.
Okay.
Don't cheat of paper. In the other sheet of paper.
constitutions, functions, and administration of Lagos State University of Education and for connected purposes be passed into law. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Kwai kindly send a clean copy to Mr. Governor for his assets. Yeah, Majority Leader.
With the approval of Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adjourns to Tuesday, the 15th day of February, year 2022 at 12 noon. I so move.
Honorable Macaulay.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I gladly rise to second the motion as moved.
There will be a short meeting immediately after 6. And before the prayer, the question is put, I want to appreciate you all for your dedication and commitment and your endurance to ensure that we are able to accomplish the assignment before us, particularly the budget before we enter a new year. And I want to take this opportunity as well to also wish our people in Lagos and in Nigeria, by extension, a very rewarding, prosperous and successful year 2022 ahead of us. And we pray Almighty God will continue to protect all of us and keep our state safe for those evil things that happened during year 2021, the building collapse and many other things. We pray that such will not happen in our state and in our nation again. So I urge you to enjoy your vacation and as well enjoy your New Year celebration, but be conscious of your safety and your neighbor's safety, and also be conscious of your environment to raise alarm where it is necessary. Security is the duty of everybody and not just the police. So I wish you all very rewarding, prosperous and successful New Year ahead. May Almighty God continue to keep us. So Happy New Year in advance to you all. So the prayer on ground. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. This house stands adjourned till Tuesday 15 February 2021 at 2022. Tuesday 15 February 2022 at 12 noon prompt. I rise.